them come. This is their fate.
Birdman hands. All right. Welcome back to the House of Wolves podcast. I am your host, Deontay, here with my near and dear friends, Jalen and Josh. We got some stuff to talk about. It's been a light week, and we're trying to make up the difference because we kind of missed our normal window, all due to me. But we're gonna try to keep on track with this. So we're back today. We'll be seeing this on Thursday. But yeah, let's talk. What is there to talk about? Concord, Game Pass, Game of the Year pretenders, probably at this point. Values of a video game. I really have some sparse and over, I guess, some more thought-provoking topics than I do a actual thing, unless we got some more stuff that come out later. But as of now, that's what we're going to be talking about. But before we get started, per usual, Jalen, Josh, tell the people how you been, what you've been up to, what you've been doing, what you've been playing. How's life going? Talk to the people.
All right. Well, good morning, people. Just rolled up out the bed. Turned my swag on.
Good morning, salutations.
But yeah, it's been a good week and a half for me. So I guess number one, I had a iPhone 11 like Pro for like 4 or 5 years at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna stop working. One, because my daughter had broke my screen like last year, and but I was still using it. The screen was all shattered, but it was like in a place where I could still see most of the content. It was just cracked.
Yeah.
But my battery started going out on me, and for whatever reason, I think it was just a bunch of apps that wouldn't let me like use them. So I had to update to the latest iOS version. And you know, when you got a bad battery, you do an iOS update, your phone gonna be moving at 2 frames a second.
Oh my goodness.
So I had to pull the trigger. I wanted to wait to see for the new phone, but then I thought about it. I don't even need the newest phone, so I just got the 15. Because how to put it, I always like the biggest iPhone I can get, but the 15 is like a decent enough size where it's bigger than like iPhones used to be, but it's not like gigantic like a tablet in your pocket. So that's just end up got the 15. Not much to say about it other than it's nice to finally have a new phone with working cameras all over. So when y'all FaceTime me, my camera is gonna be looking crisp now.
Oh my goodness.
Man, you don't need an answer.
Didn't I answer? Man, you the one. Whenever I call Jalen, oh, what you doing? Oh, I'm riding a bike. I'm skydiving. Like, oh, you busy? All right, I'll call you back.
That man on a mission, man. He on a mission. The best 20
trying to get
minutes.
on my side quest to get all my spoils.
Yeah, but the best thing about the new phone is all the extra space. I ended up getting the 256, so I downloaded all the games I can, even though I'm gonna delete all of them. Downloaded everything, try it out, which is good because I know we talked about it a little bit last week, but I was playing Zenless Zone Zero on PC and on my phone, bouncing back and forth. And I mean, I prefer it on PC just because that game kind of is just better with a controller since it's an action game. But I've been playing a lot of that, and it's still fun. Like we were saying, it's a little bit more shallow than I thought, but overall the quality is still very good. And trying out all the characters, and they seem very interesting. And then I got, I guess, to like where I'm at chapter 3, and it kind of puts you in a more open like city environment, which what I was hoping it would do. So it's still not a full like action game in like big cities with connected areas, but at least the world map has expanded. So now I'm in a city that feels big, which is good. So you meet NPCs or you can explore and find treasure and stuff like that. So I like the big environments. But another game I was playing is their previous game, which was Honkai Star Rail, or you just call it Star Rail because it's got a weird name. But what I want to say about that, that was a turn-based RPG that came out last year. I thought it was really fun as far as like the RPG mechanics, and of course it's free to play, so you can just play as much as you want. But it's been like a year and a half, and they've been putting in updates, and so going back and seeing how much they've improved with the updates was a surprise, because like we all play live service games like Destiny and stuff like that, and like let's say you come back a year later, maybe you got different weapons or different environments, but the game's like structure or presentation is usually the same. But I was surprised to see that they're willing to, I guess, change some things. For example, when the game first came out, like you go into an area, the game will stop you. You have a cutscene with your NPCs, and you have a battle. Then you go explore, and then another cutscene, like very standard RPG stuff. Cutscene, battle, walk around, cutscene, battle. But when it got to, I guess, like 2.0, they start kind of mixing up the formula, where now they have dialogue and cutscenes in the middle of the battle, or for like story stuff, or while you're exploring, the characters are talking, so they don't have to stop you with the cutscene, because they now the characters are talking while you're exploring. So the I guess the game flow felt different. It was like, oh, this actually feels new. So anyways, I like that they are willing to, like, I guess, keep putting the quality into the game and pushing it as the game goes on 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So if they could do that with Zero.
All they care about is booty cheeks per second, G. I don't know what you're talking about. No, I'm just playing.
What you mean?
I'm talking about those stupid games that have like fan service. Booty cheeks per second. That's all they looking for. Booty cheeks. Let me see no booty.
Booty meat.
Booty cheeks.
Meat.
Hey, wait, hold on. You mean to tell me I've been playing this for 3 seconds and I ain't seen no booty cheeks? That's the ratio. That's what they looking for. Booty cheeks per second. Has that been upped? If that's been upped, there's more people playing it. That's all I get from it most of the time. I'm like, but nah, I'm just stepping on all your points. But go ahead.
No, I mean that's common with the genre. I think the MiHoYo games are. I mean, I'm not an expert on them. I think they're like middle of the road as far as like that type of stuff. Is not some, like, you might have one character that's overly aggressive, like that pink carrot girl that from the Zen list, but then other characters might just be normal. But anyways, yeah. I get it. It is a part of the genre because they're trying to sell people on
the characters.
Yeah. But anyways, the game is still fun.
And it's been improving, which is always good.
It's been improving, and I think actually Star Rail, the one I mentioned, is actually pretty, like, even more tame as far as the fan services, I would say. So if you liked, for example, RPGs like the Star Ocean or like other PlayStation 2 RPGs where it's just like you kind of exploring space and stuff like that, I would definitely recommend Star Rail. But
okay.
As far as games, that's all I've been playing. Truly, we'll talk a little bit about Concord and other releases. And I guess the other thing that real quick that I did, we finished Star Wars, the Acolyte last night.
Oh,
yeah, that's the the newest controversy out every week. New YouTube videos and articles talking about the Acolyte. But it was actually pretty decent. Most of the complaints are about diversity stuff and women doing things that people didn't like. But as far as the actual story, it's not as good as Andor. So put Andor at the top. And then on the opposite side, where you have well, not the opposite side, but on another point, you have the Mandalorian, where the Mandalorian is kind of doing its own exploration thing. Acolyte it's trying to cut in it somewhere in between, where it wants to have its like mystery story. You're trying to solve a murder, who did this, what happened, blah blah blah, but also still include some action stuff like lightsabers and stuff like that. Overall, the mystery um, it kept evolving, so you couldn't just guess it right away.
Right.
And by the end of it, the ending was episode was pretty satisfying as far as like tying together all the loose ends that they had. But also, I was surprised, I'll say, to see how open they left it. Whereas that we want to see more of this story and characters. So, I personally think it will be a season 2. I don't know what the financials say, but I would be happy to see more of it. So that being said, if you're tired of Star Wars, maybe you're not gonna like it. But if you were curious about it, the Acolyte was pretty decent.
Yeah, I've been watching a few shows. I've been watching Dexter in front of the kids. Probably shouldn't do that, but I've been like season 3 of that, and I don't know why I'm watching. It's on Netflix, and that's why I'm watching it. I know why I'm watching it because it popped up on Netflix. But that's been interesting. I never watched that ever. So like 3 seasons into that, and it's just like it's like when I'm sitting around and I'm playing Diablo or something because I have been playing a lot of Diablo. I put that on, but I have become very conscious of what I watch in front of the kids. I forget that they're like they don't even like Demon Slayer. I was like, I understand that. I was like, okay, it's a little graphic, but most of the time they just making stupid faces and trying to prove the plot, and it's like he don't even drive with that. So I'm like, bro, I can't watch nothing but Mika. So I might try to figure out something else that I can watch. Most of the time it's romance comedies, but I don't know why I did that, why I said all that. But anyways, Dexter was on my mind because when you said that, I was like, lightsaber fights. I was like, I don't even know if that fly in the house. If I tried to put it on, I watched that when they're not watching. But yeah, that sounds like an interesting one. I might check that out for sure. Same thing happened with Gladiator too. The trailer, a lot of the soundtrack and Denzel just being there was the problem, but it looked okay to me. I didn't like this. I didn't like the song either. I was like, this is not good for the setting that they're trying to. It's supposed to be a little bit more. It's supposed to be a little bit more dramatic and not like that. This ain't like I could see them trying to do like a difference for what they call it, spaghetti western or whatever they called it when they did that with Django, but I feel like it just doesn't fit in this. But I'm not the person that cut the trailer, but it just didn't feel like it fit. Anywho's, what about you, Jalen? What you been up to? What you been doing?
Shoot, mainly just trying to stay active. I've been trying to hoop. I feel like I could go through these little cycles where I'll be trying to do more of that. But I actually been trying to stay away from like like fast food and stuff like that. So I've been like cooking and grilling. I'm trying to get on my grilling back so I can be big hunk in the future. You feel me?
Yeah, I see you be on Instagram out there sitting out there chilling with the grill. I was like, man, this man out there doing it. Like, what do you be cooking? That's my question.
I'm trying to perfect like not perfect, but I usually be cooking like chicken and salmon.
Mm-hmm.
But like as far as like I don't usually like buy red meat and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So but this time I had bought like some steaks, like 3 different cuts or whatever. So I can see how to like cook them and you know what I'm saying, like the temperature inside, how the meat's cooked, and some of the lower steaks can they cook better even though they're like a lower steak versus like something like a ribeye or something more higher or more expensive, you know what I mean?
Yeah, bunch of side quests. Just like that one you told me about. How is your impromptu rap career going? Not the rap career, but the ability to rap rhymes spontaneously. I think that was another side quest of Jalen's, if you guys weren't aware, is that he wanted to not perfect, but be better at the ability to rap spontaneously. I don't understand why it's a side quest, but how does that go?
I've been in certain areas where they be like, all right, y'all, let's freestyle or something, and then I just can't do it. You know what I'm saying? So I got tired of doing it. I'm like, man, I gotta. So I'm getting better. Y'all hear me spit up? Nah, just play.
Nah, you keep those to yourself, buddy. Nah, just playing. I'm not gonna try to crush your dreams, man. You let it out, man. Let it out.
No, I'll be having like stage fright and stuff. The biggest thing is like the stage fright. I can rhyme and stuff a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But trying to
Do
I
it.
actually been listening to like some freestyles and stuff and kind of see how they, like tempos, how they might switch it up. If they gonna use a double entendre or like, punk, just all that type of stuff. Like, I've been trying to like think about some of those things and then having like subject matter and stuff too. I think sometimes I can rap a little bit better about subject matter that I can relate to rather than trying to, but like get money, all that, all that type of stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Like stuff that you really don't have no soul to it. It's like you gotta have some
yeah,
meaning behind it.
And
Maybe
you start rapping
have
like
a string of
2 Chainz.
DBZ or Kingdom Hearts rhymes. I feel like there's a lot of people play on those words anyway already, even if they're a rapper and they're a little more hood-esque, I call it. But
yeah.
just having that ability to kind of just put rhymes together, it is a skill that is cool to see, especially when you can't do it properly.
Yeah, like I was listening to one dude, I was just like, man, this dude really cold, bro. And I'm like, he just on the little radio, just freestyling right now, you know what I'm saying? And then after I listen to it, I can tell when they messed up and how they cover it up a little bit, and then if they need to switch up, all that type of stuff. But anyways, what I've been doing, for time's sake, I mean, I've been still be like freestyling and stuff. I can do it a little bit on like a beat and stuff like that. Sometimes it's trying to catch a cadence, trying to get in my grilling bag so I can like do better at that. I said I was gonna start like cooking and stuff, grilling a little bit more simpler because I feel like it's less cleanup. I mean, it's prep and stuff like that, but it's less cleanup than like, at my place or whatever. And then just staying active and hooping. I actually was like, I need to slow down on traveling and stuff because I feel like I've been kind of tired lately. But so that I've been trying to chill on that too. But other than that, man, I think that's really about it. As far as games I've been playing, I mean, I'm still playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and then I think that's really about it. I don't think I played anything this week besides that, and I'll be playing.
Are you making progress with Final Fantasy?
Kind of. I mean, I'm like, I haven't been playing it that much, but I'm like 12 hours in. So,
Yeah.
That ain't nothing. I'm in Junon now, so.
Okay.
It's cool though, But that's pretty much it for me. I ain't got no games. I was supposed to like hacker out DLC stuff, but I forgot to, and
Oh yeah. You were same. I mean, I guess I've been doing a lot of the similar things. A lot of stuff just going on at the house, at work, and just trying to make sure keep yourself prepared for new opportunities. But mostly been playing Diablo. I got my one character to level 100, and now I'm working on my second, which is my barbarian. I think it's my barbarian. I don't remember which one I picked. No, it's my druid. 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 However you say it. I call him the wind guy. Anyways, I've been playing a lot of Diablo. It's just something I can just play and not think about it. So it's just been one of those games. Now it's in my catalog that I can just pick up and start playing and not really think about what I gotta do next because I know what the best ways to upgrade and level up and blah blah blah. So I'm really just going out there fighting stuff and picking up stuff and seeing what works better. But it's not really a lot of thinking going on when I play it. So it's probably going to keep staying that way for a while at least till I get tired of it. I haven't got tired of it yet. So, but I'm still playing a lot of Diablo. I think they're supposed to be doing the next season reveal tomorrow. So I'm going to be checking that out, see what they got going on. In regards to that, and just chilling though. I ain't really been up to much. I haven't played any other games outside of that. I tried to get into Grand Blue. I ain't gonna lie, I might refund that boy because I was like, I really don't want to deal with these. Like none of the characters, I'm not giving nothing no chances. And that's the problem. I think I'm giving too small of a window to play games to like characters at this point, and development of the character is not going to flower me anymore. So I'm kind of like not in a great spot to be playing those types of games. honestly. Like, that's why I couldn't get into Final Fantasy. Even though I have, like, rapport with the characters that were there already, it's like when I was having to do it again and re-understand the characters' motives and all that stuff, I just stopped caring. So I guess right now, I'm not in the space. And I think that is a true thing where you just not in the space to play certain types of games. And that's fine. It's not like you have to force yourself to play games that you're just not intrigued by. Which Grand Blue, unfortunately, it might be one of those cases where I just not in the mood to learn and follow the development of a character right now. I'm just not interested. So, I don't know. Maybe that's it's just a problem for me right now. I don't know if that's ever happened to y'all. Maybe it could be a topic some point, but it's just where I'm just not in the mood for that. So, more than likely, I'm probably not going to finish Grand Blue, and I might refund it and just get Ghost of Tsushima because ain't no development there, and I just like the gameplay. So, that might be the move for me. But yeah, I ain't been doing nothing, and we're going to get into this first topic because this was supposed to be something I was hoping that it was going to be special, and I'm still got some hope there, but this is definitely something I want to dive deep into and kind of talk through. I can't really talk through mechanics because honestly, I'm getting off of secondhand information. I'm not really putting my own perspective out there because it's a little bit of a mixed bag. I've only played a little bit, and I'm just kind of the general consensus of it as well. So, first topic, Concord. Let's be honest here. What was our timing for each of us in regards to playing this game? I'll go first. Honest. I played about an hour and 10 minutes of the beta over the weekend.
Yeah, I only played like one match, and I spent the rest of the time like watching cutscenes and exploring the menus.
Gotcha.
So like 30 minutes.
I didn't get to. My code ain't work, so I ain't get to play it. I'm like,
that's because you refunded it too fast. They said, man, what you refunded?
Bro,
they said, man, you need
they shouldn't have nothing to do with that. They third party,
Yeah.
bro. It's Best Buy.
They snatched it out of him. They snatched it right from him. Jalen decided.
Allegedly.
No, they did. They had to. It doesn't make sense. Sunday was still a day for you to play it. They snatched it.
Yeah,
Man.
but that don't
That's
make
crazy.
sense though.
It don't make sense. It seemed like they were that's a little crazy, but
They did it fast.
no, they did. Because I didn't think I didn't think I would have thought you would have put it in first and then took it out, but it doesn't matter anyway. Concord, because unfortunately it's not the greatest of a state and it's not the greatest of a game. It's very much so what I thought when I first initially saw it. A whole bunch of stolen ideas, not stolen, but just borrowed ideas, I say, and not a lot of value for the player there. I thought two things when I first initially started to strike me very well: the production of the quality of the cutscenes and the production and quality of the animations and gameplay. Like, I felt like they had a very strong sense of how a game should feel actively as you're playing it. I just think everything else was a toss up. And I think nobody really knew how to build a game to be engaging and fun and actually have meaningful systems to continue to cultivate a fan base that will want to continue to play it. From what I've been reading, from what I've been seeing, the things that I liked and had my first impressions on is like where it ends in regards to the value of the game. And would you agree, Josh or Jalen, in regards to what you have seen about the game? Has there been any different things that you saw out there in regards to just the overall value of that proposition of that $40?
I mean, yeah, $40, you get the game. It's gonna have a couple modes. It looked like it had I don't know if it's a paid battle pass, but it has some sort of progression system, at least for what's there for the base game. And then how many characters? Like 20 characters
20,
or something like that?
It's a decent amount of characters. I think it's like 16 or 18. Or it might be 20.
Yeah. and a bunch of cosmetics that you unlock by leveling up the characters. So I don't know. I think it's how to explain it. I'll do it two ways. For $40, what
16.
you're getting is is it 60?
16 characters, sorry.
Oh, 16 characters, okay. For $40, you get, I guess, a good 40 hours of content, I would guess. Like if you just trying to level up all the characters or something like that. And see all the story cutscenes that they do every few weeks. So I'll at least to expect you can play the game a lot for about a month. Will be my guess. But I think in comparison with a lot of its competition or contemporaries, you especially for free to play shooters, they tend to give you the same amount of content or more. Like
Yeah,
maybe you
Apex
have
Legend
to
is
level
killing
up a little
us.
bit to get the characters, but you probably gonna get another 10, 15 characters for free. Um, as well as cosmetics that you unlock for free. But the good stuff you're gonna have to pay for on the battle pass. So I don't know. I think that this game was fun, but yeah, the price point I think is the sticking point where it's like, well, I'm curious, but maybe everybody else playing the game has buyer's remorse, and so it's gonna be hard to find a match or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, what about
and
y'all?
I think that was the I think that's what we saw with the numbers coming out in regards to how many people were playing. In the peak for on PC, it was like 1,400. It wasn't not a lot of people playing this game over the weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people were quitting halfway through matches. And like I said, I only played like a handful, and I could still see people I was already quitting if they had get on a losing. It doesn't have any like.
Yeah, I only played one match, and it was fun. Time to kill was very slow, but you know
Mhm.
it's a sort of a Destiny type of game. But people haven't found out the perfect builds. But halfway through the match, my whole team left, and then so we were losing, and then half the other team left, and so now it was just 2v2 for the next 5 minutes. So like, okay, we've been playing
Yeah.
this for like 12-minute match.
And there is no
So
supers or anything, so it's nothing like I was. There's nothing that just like their abilities made them distinct to me, but I felt like they needed something else to make them feel more valuable to me and the team. I don't know I don't know
mm-hmm.
how those systems come out and make sense. Honestly, I don't know how they all interwork, but it just didn't feel like I was playing a I felt like I was playing a dumbed down version of Overwatch because I just felt like it was more tactful when it comes to positioning and being with your team, but it literally fell apart when it comes to moving momentum or changing or shifting the dynamic of the fights. Because all I was doing
Mm-hmm.
was doing the same thing. I was trying to stay with my team and I was trying to shoot the guys next to me, and I really wasn't like I wasn't thinking about what they had or what they could do. And I guess that was kind of conscious of me is that I was like, I don't think it matters, honestly. As long as I win this fight, I win. And I guess that maybe I was simplifying their gameplay because maybe it is intricate. Maybe it is like, very, very, crazy and insane if you kind of mention max stuff together or whatever. But to me, it just didn't feel like it was that much more different than just playing Splitgate. Like where nobody's super special. It's just everybody's doing the same thing. But obviously, I only played with one character that entire time. I did not try everybody. I saw stuff that was coming at me and what I was fighting, and it did feel like people had more health. But that was it. I wasn't engaging people differently because of their powers or whatever or how they unique they was. I was engaging everybody in the same way where I know distinctively, if you're playing like fighting a tracer or whatever, more than likely you need to give them space to, and maybe that's just my little bit of time that I had that I didn't really get to see the intricacies of it, but I think that stuff is pretty stark and pretty clear from the beginning. Like, I want to see why is that guy able to do that? I didn't get any of that when I was playing it. I just felt like everybody was like, I don't know, just a little bit above average characters, not really like significantly different. And maybe that is because of supers, because when a super pop off, you gotta pay attention sometimes to it, like May's thing, or if you're doing like Winston's bubble and he's going crazy, like supers. You know what I'm saying? Like actual things that
Mhm.
change the game dynamic a little bit and make you feel like, okay, well, I probably gotta pay attention to that now. I don't think I felt like that the whole time I was playing. I just felt like I was just going through the motions, and that's why maybe it just didn't feel exciting enough. I'm not saying that every game needs a freaking super or whatever, because you don't. But it
I
could.
mean, yeah, but even Overwatch has supers, and games in this genre, supers are important because it is a team battle, and that's your play to change the flow of the match. And both games that are, I would say, it's inspiration, Destiny and Overwatch, have both of those, and to not have it here, it can be felt.
Yeah,
Because like, yeah, I was flying around with like the rocket character who is like a Pharah, but she's slower, and her rockets don't kill people as fast. But there's nothing really I could do about it. I mean, I can still kill people, but basically, I just got to hit them with 5 rockets real quick instead of there's a situation where it's like 3 people all on me at once. Where it's like, okay, well, I run away or I'm dead because I can't fight 3 people with this slow character.
yeah,
uh, and so of course that's why you should be with your team. But it's a shooter, and without, I guess, proper the community has to build like that. Like, you can't force people to run around together in a FPS because most people not gonna do that. So
yeah. I think the strength of this game really comes out when there is some synergy, and the strength of the game probably is going to come out when people start to play their roles actively. Like I feel like it's a role. It has some form of role playing, but there is still a lot of value in just being able to fight on your own too. So I'm hoping that when we play it again, or if we play it again, I think this weekend you get another beta opportunity and it's open. I want to see the player count go up. I want to see what it looks like to truly be in a game that's engaging, and see if people can take some of that, what they learned from the previous beta and kind of show me what the difference is here. But as of now, my little time, unfortunately, it was too little, but I didn't see anything that excited me per se. I was just more so like, it's okay. I wouldn't pay $40 for it though. So
yeah, I know it's not a big deal, but since they got so many characters, I was hoping that like Overwatch, even if you don't care about the story, maybe it's like one character that's like, oh, this character is cool, and
mm,
I might want to check them out. So far, I didn't see anybody on the roster like that for me. I think it's gonna end up being like their gameplay. Like, I know the
mm,
one girl on the one of the main characters, that I think she's Asian. She seems like a warlock character, so maybe her
yeah,
gameplay is gonna be what draw it to me. But as far as like watching the cutscenes and the characters talk to each other, it's like I don't really like anybody. I don't like the writing of this.
yeah,
Not to say it is bad. Everybody's voice acting, they're motion captured, and it's high quality. And I just don't care because it's not. It's no stakes, and it's
yeah.
just we hanging out like this the office and telling jokes and stuff.
Yeah, I think that there is not there has well, at least it hasn't presented itself an overarching arc of
Yeah, I know it's
like of
supposed to be
true
like
value.
Guardians of the Galaxy, but
Yeah,
even then, I think Guardians of the Galaxy, I guess, did it
I
better.
think they have a
Um,
problem
you
with
know.
putting a face to the threat. They got to put a face on the threat so we can actually
Mhm.
embody what that is versus trying to tell us that we have to unite and take on something. I need to see the reason why it's so important, and I think that they have definitely not done that yet. Maybe that is something that's coming down the line, but I would think they want to start off strong, really give us a fight. Like what Helldivers did. I mean, obviously we know it's goofy. We know is interesting and
Yeah, but it's set up in the front where
Yeah.
what your goal is and kind of why it's important to people in the world. So
Yeah.
whether you're or not, you know that it's important to other people.
Yeah, it's for democracy, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like it feel like the less is more, but at the same time I feel like Concord has begun on the wrong way. They kind of done less on the story and even less on the gameplay and like the aspects of like how everything kind of synergizes. So I'm really concerned about it, honestly. I think that
Don't
it
take
might
right notes
flop.
from Destiny.
Yeah, man. I don't even know. I'm like, why wouldn't y'all put in all the cool stuff about Destiny? Like, I would think if I was gonna make a PvP game right now, I'd just copy most of what Destiny systems are, except for like re-energizing, obviously grenades and like even your health, you have to go back
Oh,
and
you gotta pick
heal
up
up.
health.
Yeah,
And,
you don't even get it regened. Like all of this stuff is designed to slow you down and not have fun. So I'm just like, huh? Why would y'all do these? I don't know, man. I feel like it's in a bad state, but I feel like they have nailed some stuff, and I'm really just trying to see what Sony saw, because right now I don't see it. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't really have much else on Concord. I really do feel like and hope that they bounce back in a positive way. I'm gonna definitely put more time in it over the weekend to kind of see what is the true pluses and strengths of this game. Because right now is they're losing me on character design. They're losing me on the like I ain't played enough maps, so I can't say the maps were bad. But they're losing me on character design. They're losing me on the story. They're losing me on the systems. So I'm really trying to figure out what are really outside of the core gameplay and graphics. What is those key strengths that they really sold Sony on buying into this? You know, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Um, but yeah, anything else to add before we continue on with our pod? I don't know why I tripped up on that.
No, and just to be clear, I don't think none of us want the game to fail. But
Absolutely
I think
not.
yeah, it's a hard sell in this genre, and it's a kind of a short ramp up to its launch. You know, like 2-3 months after it was revealed. So it has a lot going against it. After playing it though, the idea of playing Concord like Overwatch, Destiny like, it is more interesting. But now I'm starting to see, like you said, the small mechanics that kind of take the fun out of the game. So I hope that they could remedy that in some way. I don't know how many game modes or different ways they're gonna balance things, but I'll play the next beta. Hopefully, we can get a few matches to see what it's really like for teammates.
Yeah.
Because isn't the base game like 5v5 or something like that?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't remember. It could be a little bit more.
Is an awkward number. I think for us at least, we don't have 5 people that can get on at the same time every day. But we'll see if we can work.
Yeah, because they gave you a code and then 4 others, so I'm assuming it's 5v5s. But yeah, hopefully they bounce back. All right. And outside of that, I mean, I didn't really have too many crazy topics that I wanted to jump into, but I know Prime Day is upon us. Anybody spending any money, good or bad? I don't think I think my I don't think my wife knows about it because I ain't really seen no Amazon transactions come through. Um, but anything coming from Prime Day that y'all saw, thought was a good. The only thing I've been thinking about getting is a Nitro deck. A Nitro deck simply is like and I don't use my Switch enough, so I can't really justify it. But I think it's cooler than the Switch dock. It just basically keeps it all in on unibody. Because I do think the Switch little Joy Cons are a little flimsy. But it's like a unibody thing. I think it's like 20 to $40 off right now. I thought that was cool. They got some headphones on there. I bought me some more HyperX's because I'm just, like I said, I don't care what nobody say. Ain't nobody gonna tell me that the HyperX quality has uh, downgraded. I feel like it's still very much so a high quality product. And even though I think HP bought them, I think they're still really good. So I will always champion them until I see otherwise. And I have not bought a bad product from them yet. So I bought some more HyperXs. Done with 20 ball for the 20 ball. Those are wired though, but they're still good. Still good. Just because they wired don't mean they still ain't good. But yeah, anything for Prime Day? Anything on your
Uh,
minds? Jalen
Nothing
might be
big.
buying some utensils for his grill. Anything on your mind? I think it's today and tomorrow. No, it's today and yesterday. So we out of it after this. Once this go live, we ain't gonna be Prime Day no more.
Shoot, I ain't really buying nothing. I bought a couple things, but I think I bought like these, like somebody told me to try these pops or something like that. They said they hard to find or something, but I think they was like half off with Prime Day, so I just eventually just bought them real quick.
Some pops, like some pops. Like
Soda
Yeah, they
pop.
call
Oh,
yeah, it's called Wild Bills.
Wild Bills. It's an interesting name. What's
Yeah,
it? It's
but
supposed to have like no good stuff, no sugar, no carb, no nothing. What's the
don't know,
sale on this one? The Wild
don't know.
Bulls soda.
Wild Bills or something like that.
Oh, I see it. Wild
My
Bills
coworker there's
soda.
like, yeah, this like some of the greatest pop. I just was like, let me just try it. I don't really drink pop like that, so I was just like, let me try it. They made it like it was like one of the, because they went to a Comic Con and it was like this person here, they come with these pops and that's one of the biggest things we're looking forward to. So I was like, man, y'all really gassing these up. So I was like, I give them a whirl, and I've been looking at them for like some months now, but I was like, I'm not paying $35 for no pop. So instead I paid like 22.
Oh, I see it on here
So
for 22. Yeah.
yeah, so I
Rocket
was like,
Pops. Interesting.
I was like, I give it a try, man. But other than that, I mean, I ain't not much else. I thought about a couple things, but I'm cool right now. So
Cool off it. Look, big spender. He can buy when he want. He don't need no Prime Day. Okay, I see you. Nah, just playing.
I need a wallet whole time. I was thinking about trying to see if I can find a wallet, but I don't know what type of wallet I want for.
Yeah. Genuine leather. That's the ones I go with. Or these like, them ones that they're like card holders at this point. They're not even a true wallet because you can't really they give you a cash clip versus an actual like extra, so it can fit in your pockets with these. I'll carry one of those around now. But
Like the money clip thingy instead of the it ain't a fold in it.
no, it still got folds, but it's like it's only for card levels. Like it's like
I know what you
cards.
mean.
Like literally, you got a 15 card holder with a middle slot, two side slots, and then you got a rubber band around it for your money. So it's not even like it's a true wallet, but it's something that kind of some format of that. But um, I'm gonna go back to my grown man wallet because I miss it, being able to flip it out. Big stacks, big spender. No, I ain't never had no big stacks.
Big bands,
By the time I
big
got
bands,
older, I was like, man, debit card it up, credit card it up. It was never really a point of me using cash, and I think everybody they still carry cash is an idiot because you missing out on that 2%, baby. Gotta get that cash back. What you talking about? You over there? Nah, I got it. They trying to make a point with their little cash. I'm like, baby, I get 2% back. I made 1,500 last year.
Hey, nah, for real though. Little quick thing, like in Chicago, they be charging people an extra 3% for car service fees now, so they starting to push them on other people. So like,
Oh,
versus if you pay with cash, they don't charge you that. But you know what I'm saying?
that's
So they trying
crazy.
to. Yeah, I'm like, bro, y'all just doing stuff, and yeah, but
Yeah, well, to
I
each
still
their
be using
own,
that
I
mug though.
suppose. To each their own, I suppose. But me, I don't know about that credit card. But what about you, Josh?
Actual.
Anything on Prime Day?
Nothing yet. Nothing yet. Just small stuff. I might end up buying another like wireless keyboard because I just got my standard one I've been using for my computer, but I need a work one that is like not trash.
Yeah.
I'll be looking at that.
Bro, I've been using this terrible mouse at work that I still ain't swapped it out because I got like 2 offices that I go to, and one of them got the trash one, and one of them got my actual setup. And the one I go to that's trash, I need to take something up there. I need to go buy a little rink-a-dink one and take it up there and swap it out because that mug, when you try to scroll down, when you try to scroll up, that mug keep jumping like crazy. I'm like, bro, I scrolled 30 extra times because it isn't one little. So I need to go ahead and just replace the mouse immediately. I don't know why I haven't, but yeah, it's one of those things that I could probably get a little quick mouse on there. Cause I got something for $20 right now too. I've seen a few for Logitech, so might have to go cop one of those just to replace or order it. But I'm too lazy to deal with our systems to order a new product, so probably just buy one. Oh, well, okay. Prime. Did y'all see that Deadpool Cheeky Controller? Is that real?
Yeah, I think so. I saw.
Did you actually buy that?
I ain't seen it.
It's okay.
Oh, so I don't know if you actually buy it. It might be like a limited promotion thing. I would assume it's a limited promotion. But,
dude, I was looking at that. I was like, what's so unique about this controller? Then I seen the butt cheeks on the back. I'm like, bro, what the heck is this? You gotta look it up, Jalen, so it can be singed in your eyes too.
Nah, it might crack my phone. Sound like
it says. No, I think it's not. I think you only can get it in a sweepstake. Basically, they gave the controller a BBL, and it's in his red tights or whatever. The controller from the front looks really, really nice. The BBL is unnecessary, but it's funny. But yeah. I saw that earlier, and I was like, bro, what the heck?
they said in honor of BBL Drizzy.
BBL Drizzy. It's in theater July 26th. Deadpool and Wolverine. Was that a day one? I ain't been to the movies in a long time. Like the last one I was supposed to go to see is Bad Boys, and I still ain't got around to it. When was is Deadpool a movie that's gonna get us back in the theaters? Is that the one?
Audi fought it.
I don't think so either, man. I don't know, man. The movie seems just. I don't feel bad because I know stuff happened. Like I don't feel bad for people that used to make VCRs. I don't feel bad for people that used to make, but I feel like they have another, like a pivot. You know what I'm saying? Like if you was a VCR maker, you could pivot to some other technology. If you was a movie-based entertainment business, like what do you pivot to? Like, do you just get in with all the streamers and try streaming content, or like how do you pivot on that business model? Like you really can't. And that's where the whole thing with the dead malls and all that stuff, it just feel like, man, like the stuff that we used to, it'd be staples, bro, just getting cooked. But yeah, I mean, I don't really feel like they can pivot to nothing. I mean, they could charge more for their popcorn and try to get you in for, you end up spending 30 on the tickets, 40 on the food, and you get up in there and you're like, man, I could have shared that 20 ball at the crib for the streamer.
I ain't even. How much is it even to go to movies now?
Bro, it's like 60. It's like if you're not, you probably ain't having a good time. You ain't spending 60. I ain't gonna lie to you. I mean, you could go for cheap and sneak in snacks or whatever. But I'm a grown man. I ain't sneaking in no snack. So I'm just gonna go to the thing and I'm gonna do the little stupid, buy the little thing at the place. And get my slushy because that's the only time I ever get them. My nachos with the fake cheese and the rubbery jalapeno, and then but sometimes I go to the theater now, and I think we became a little bougie, and that's probably why the price went up because we go to the nice theaters and we try to make sure that they got like the nice recliners and they're not like
exactly.
Anyway. Yeah, they just got nice stuff. They got nice stuff. They usually have a nice little bar in there too that you can sit down and get a drink if you really want to. But those type of theaters, where they're at least trying to pivot somewhat. But I end up spending like 60, 70 most of the time.
Yeah, I forget what I was reading, but yeah, overall movie theaters just as an experience, I guess, has changed because like when we were younger, especially like when we were in college, like we would go to the movies, but it was also kind of hanging out. Like maybe we would eat after at Applebee's or something like that, or before, or we're hanging out somewhere, and then going to the movie theater. So it was kind of you're spending the evening, and movie prices have gone up, but prices for everything has gone up. So you know, even if I got a $10-15 movie ticket, now that more like $20. Then we go to Applebee's, that's more expensive than it used to be. And all the other stuff that you got to factor in, like transportation and stuff like that. And plus, malls closing, so there's nowhere to just hang out and sit. So just the experience of going to the movies is not worth it. For older people, it's harder to justify, do I want to spend my night doing that just to see this movie when I can watch something else on Netflix? But also younger people, probably just don't care that much about movie theaters because they just got other forms of entertainment now, like TikTok and stuff.
And Twitch and watching people do
instead
live
of instead of going to the movie theater and watch a 3-hour movie, they can be making TikToks and stuff like that. So it's just changing times, and unfortunately, I think a lot of America is not. A lot of smaller cities aren't going to be able to adapt. Like the movie theaters are going to close, and other like arcades and stuff like that, just because they don't have the amount of people needed to sustain that type of business. So for smaller cities, unfortunately, you're going to have to go out far to the next big city to get that form of entertainment. Big cities like New York and stuff, I think they're always still popular. But yeah, it's a changing world.
For sure. I wonder if
as far as go ahead.
I was thinking about consolidation, like consolidating some of the theaters into one big one or one, like, I mean, some people can just purchase theaters and then kind of run it with their model that they feel like has been sustained or sustainable. But I do feel like there is a need for the movie theater experience to be upgraded to go from as you stated, it's falling out of that mid-level or
like
lower level
recreational
tier
thing. It's become more of a luxury.
That lower level tier of it has to kill off the lower level tier of their type of that experience, and it has to start catering to a more like that, as you said, it has to be a more of an experience. That $5 student coupon ticket, I don't think that ain't gonna fly no more for me. That it's gotta have that experience where it's been upgraded. To be honest, I think that is gonna start to be, if you're not spending like that $100 or whatever, I don't think it's worth it anyway. So I don't like that part of it, but I do feel like that is the only way for them to kind of survive and still not have to like really start cutting back and making the experience just no less than what it is. Some of these people ain't even fixed and they put all those recliners in and they ain't changed the leather. I come change that leather, man. So there's a lot of that stuff where it's felt like, y'all skimping, bro. So and it is a dying market. So I feel like there has to be a better business model out there for them to kind of start to advocate or move towards that would benefit them more. It could be a significant better experience, but serving real food, serving bars and drinks and things like that. But then you're tailoring more to it's got to find a good mixture. So that's all I'm trying to get to. Well, okay. There's a lot of topic about nothing. Deadpool's butt cheeks. I don't know. That controller just threw me because I was just watching.
Yeah. As for Deadpool, if I have time, like with the family and stuff, maybe we'll hop in and watch Deadpool in the theater. But maybe not. It seems good, but it might not be the theater movie for me.
Yeah.
That being said, I did see Mad Max. I think we mentioned it. I saw that in the theater and IMAX. It was definitely worth it because, you know, getting that whole experience in IMAX is in that movie is built for that. And you want to experience it in that way. Watching it on your TV is not going to give you the same experience. Whereas Deadpool, I don't really feel like I need to see it in IMAX.
Yeah.
You know,
I think they have to start to. I think that is a big thing too. Everybody got big screen TVs now. It's a thing. So you don't really need to. You can't just give me a bigger screen and call it a day. You got to do something special. So I think that was one of those things. I still enjoyed Mad Max on a big screen at a movie theater and having that experience. Because I wanted to go see it, but I couldn't find any IMAX showing anymore because it was out of the rotation at that point. Like Inside Out 2 had IMAX. I'm like, come on, bro. But Mad Max didn't because I waited like a month and a half before I went to go see it. So I would assume they wouldn't be showing it in IMAX anymore. But yeah. Definitely changed. Definitely want to see where it goes, and I'm hoping that it does for the benefit of the freaking movies in general. I hope it stick around and they pivot to something better. But let's move on to our next topic, and that would be like again some more stuff that is kind of like thought provoking. I want to talk about the value of a video game, but I also want to talk about the game of the year first because the value of some DLC that came out and kind of blew us all away. It's kind of like, okay, what is the true value of a video game? And I don't want to get into that because that feels like it's a little different kind of a conversation. But let's talk about game of the years as of now. Today, anything is on the table. DLC included, but I want to talk through like some of y'all's better games that y'all have played this year, some of the things that you have enjoyed and are seen or thought was interesting that's coming down the pipeline. I did change my tune a little bit on Star Wars Outlaws, so that's a little different, but yeah. Talk to me about some games that y'all have played, games that y'all will advocate for, that y'all feel is worthy of time that has come out this year. Is that a loaded question? Do y'all need time for that one? Because it might be too loaded. But game of the year contenders.
Well, the obvious one for me is Elden Ring. That's the one that is undeniable that it should be in all the Game of the Year conversations because the DLC, as far as the price point that it launched at, the amount of content that it gives you, how it like really pushes an already great game to make it even better, and the fact that I kind of just have been. Even though I haven't played it in a couple weeks, I still think about it. I'm seeing builds that are like, oh, maybe I should go back and play some more because it was just that good, and I kind of want to spend more time with it instead of just putting it down and forgetting about it like a lot of other games. That being said, I played a lot of other games this year that have all been good, and it's hard to qualify because they're good and they're fun, but there's something missing. And I think it's the factor of they're all trying to push or present themselves as innovative or like next gen, or even though we're current gen, but we're this is what you've been waiting for. We're about to push the power of the current gen systems, and you've been waiting for this point, and I kind of feel like none of those games have lived up to that for me. And in fact, they've kind of been disappointing in a lot of ways because they're pushing maybe new features or new things that detract from other things that I feel like were done better last gen. So a lot of my issues with Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, even though it's a great game, like I enjoyed it. I played it for like 100 hours, and it offers so much fan service, like good combat, good cutscenes, but it feels bloated and disappointing. Same thing with Dragon's Dogma 2. Like I really like Dragon's Dogma 2. The combat is really fun, and they got some really cool classes. That one is like a basically a Jedi. You got like a dual saber, and you can lift people up, and you can teleport and do all the type of stuff. And it was so fun. But all the other stuff like technical issues and bloated design made it not as fun as the first game. So I for now, I'm talking right now and let y'all think and stuff, get y'all stuff better. But yeah, I don't know. Next gen stuff has been disappointing for me. And so I think for me, Game of the Year games are going to be smaller games like I'll say AA or, games, some like Helldivers, which it on its own isn't, it's not Destiny or whatever, and it has its limitations, but it's just so well presented. Like they had their original idea and they delivered on that like 100% with no extra bloat or anything like that. And they launched it at a lower price point, and it satisfied me and exceeded my expectations a lot. So yeah, I'd say $70 games. There hasn't been a single $70 game that has at least met my expectation, and definitely has never exceeded my expectation for a $70 game. I guess the closest one is like Stellar Blade. I still think it has a lot of issues, but I was expecting like very little of it, and it delivered more. But it still wasn't like, nowhere near as good as Elden Ring.
Gotcha. I think the only one that I was thinking of that maybe you have a different insight on is Dragon's Dogma 2. Do you feel like that would be up there at all?
We didn't talk about it a whole lot. Dragon's Dogma 2 has a lot of good stuff about it, but it has a lot of issues. And when I finished it, the overall feeling is that it's missing something. Yeah. And it's hard to explain. And I guess it's like what's a game that we played recently? Oh, okay, maybe Elden Ring. So now that we played Elden Ring and Shadow of the Earth Tree together, and overall that whole package feels amazing. Right. So let's say they come out with Elden Ring 2, and Elden Ring 2 is like smaller in size than Elden Ring. The original Elden Ring. And so you're like, okay, what's here is good, but I know that I'm missing so much other stuff. And it's like, is this going to be DLC, or did y'all just not have time to make it or something like that? Because the best part of Dragon's Dogma 1 is the Dark Arisen expansion. Everything that the expansion adds, like a whole new area. And the whole point of the Dark Arisen expansion is that it's not open world anymore. It's a roguelike dungeon. And this roguelike dungeon condenses everything to a small space. You fight in big bosses in small spaces. There's no wasted time. There's no side quests. There's no NPCs. You just get the best version of the game right here. Whereas like Dragon's Dogma, you're gonna you literally gonna be walking back and forth 30 minutes between cities every single time to deliver side quests, and it's like, this is a waste of time. There's no fast travel, which is fine, but if you're playing this game for 100 hours, fast travel is important. And at the end of the game, when you get to the end, it doesn't have that extra thing that makes it amazing. Oh shoot, my bad. I now remember how I was going to describe it to y'all on the podcast, so I think we skipped it. Dragon's Dogma 2 is a 7 out of 10 with a couple 10 out of 10 moments that make you love it. Like, overall, the game is a 7, but a couple 10 out of 10 moments that would make it special. Dragon's Dogma 2 is a 7 out of 10 with no 10 out of 10 moments, and that's the problem. Like not a single boss fight is a 10 out of 10. Not a single anything is a 10 out of 10. And the first game had that, so it makes it disappointing. So my bad for the long Dragon's Dogma rant.
No worries. Well, I mean, I don't really have anything big that I'm enjoying outside of the Elden Ring DLC, and so there is like, yes, I love Prince of Persia and the Lost Crown. Yes, I did love Persona 3 Reloaded. There is a few ones that really stood out to me as I played them. But at the end of the day, I don't feel like there was anything super significant that I could point to outside of Elden Ring that I'm like, man, this was exceptional. You know what I'm saying? I feel like everything was just so um incrementally better. I think the only thing that really surprised me was Prince of Persia, and I think it's just simply because of how much was in the package. You know, like when you think a game is going to end soon or it's not going to have much tricks up its sleeve, but it just keeps going and going and going. I think that was super, super impressive for me with Prince of Persia. I feel like it was always something new to chase after or look for or to challenge myself. And I felt like that was a really, really great experience overall playing Prince of Persia. Um, and I think for what it is, it will win a award. I don't know if it'll be best, 2D platformer, if it'll be just best indie game, because they do consider it still an indie game, which it was a nice budget behind it, but it's still an indie game. And, there's a lot of competition in that space, like Animal Well. I never played it, but Balatro played the crap out of that, and I felt like it was a really good game. But I mean, it's not that much. I don't want to minimize its impact. I think it was a lot to it. I think that it is not a game that I would consider to be game of the year or something like that. It's just more so a really, really enjoyable, fun game to play, um, in moments. So Persona 3 Reloaded, it's a game that, already came out. My first experience to it, I don't know how to grade those, honestly. Like, I wouldn't want to give Resident Evil 4 Remake, Game of the Year last year, but simply because it's a remake. Same thing, I wouldn't want to do a Reloaded. I understand that it can be a substantial upgrade and all that stuff, but I'm like, we have source material for this. You're just, you're making it better incrementally. It's not like it's a huge overhaul. If you do too much of an overhaul, it's a problem anyway. So I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of games that I played and a lot of games that I've enjoyed, but there's only one that I felt like knocked it out the park, had me engaged the entire time, and crazy enough, it's a From Software game. So yeah, it's very easy for me right now. It's very easy. Like I don't have anything coming down the pipe right now that I feel like will knock that off. There's nothing I feel like will be coming down later that will make that go away. I don't even think, like Indiana Jones, maybe. I think that just has enough push behind it. But honestly, those story-based games like that, they live and die by their story and their writing. Like, yeah, a person can perform it well, but if the writing sucks and the story isn't great, then it really is nothing to say. And Indiana Jones hasn't never been deep. At least a couple of movies I watched. It's like he's just going to solve a mystery. It's not really much you can do with that. So I don't really know what Indiana Jones would do. I guess I'm trying to say is that I know the difference between what I'm getting from the writing of a God of War to the Indiana Jones. I think Indiana Jones is kind of stuck in a box. God of War was able to break out that box. I don't think it's going to be too much breaking out of the box for Indiana. So regardless of what I think, the narration may be, the voice actor may be great, but the writing is still going to be placed within those constraints that may not tell a great story that's meaningful and impactful to me. There's nothing, you just can't do it. So you have to go create your own world, own IP, like a Last of Us or something. So I don't think that's going to be the thing either. So it really would be, just waiting on, Elden Ring to collect its award for DLC that they can't even do. If we were taking that off the plate, would you think Helldivers 2 had a chance still? It's been a lot of
I think
community
that
stuff right
it was very
now.
impactful, and it was
Yeah.
probably the best, like most fun shooter I've played, even though it's not PvP. I'd say I'd be okay if it was included. I don't know if it would actually win any rewards for like best. I don't even know what group to put it in.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I think Helldivers 2 was great, and it's definitely worth some awards.
What you think, Jalen? Persona 3 or Helldivers?
Honestly, that's a tough question, man. I don't really know. I think I liked it the fluidity of Helldivers a little bit more. Of course, I like multiplayer games. Persona 3. I liked it the game. I think it had some slow moments or enough slow moments in the game, and it felt like it wasn't shaking things up enough or fast enough for me. I'd probably say Helldivers.
Okay. Yeah, we definitely need to play it some more. I know a lot of community stuff been going around about how it's not been being tended to as much as it should be, but I feel like there's a core loop there that's still worth it, especially when you actually start to get upgrades. I think that there's a lot of stuff about, I don't know, some enemies being too much and making it boring and making it unfun and blah blah blah. But for me, I still find enjoyment of beating and winning situations like that in regards to Helldivers. But it does get to a point where some people feel like your moment to moment action isn't meaningful, and you never want that to happen. So I think they do a great job of keeping that same feeling of everything you do is meaningful and you're not just wasting time. So but yeah, I would give my hat. I would give it to Helldivers if we were talking about a multiplayer award. I don't know about Game of the Year. Um, I think it's going to be between Dragon's Dogma 2 and uh, I think Prince of Persia can get a, if people enough people played it. I think people would actually give it a Game of the Year nod. But yeah, it's tough. It's a weird year. There's games that have been very close in caliber to each other. That is like it could go anyway. Like people could really make a case for Final Fantasy if they wanted to. So
Yeah, I'm enjoying Final Fantasy for you talking about not this one.
yeah. So it's a case to be made for a lot of games. That's all I was trying to get at. It's not really one out there that's a clear winner, and that unfortunately that clear winner, there is one out there that's a clear winner, and unfortunately that's DLC though. So can't do that. Ain't no Legends of Zeldas, ain't no God of Wars. We getting Concord, so it's not just. Sony has been very much so Rise of Ronin-esque lately, not not Last of Us-esque. So it's not really a clear defined winner on their end either. We'll see what Microsoft do. They got Avowed, and they have Avowed ain't gonna make it. Nah, I can tell you that. But they could give it to Indiana to give Microsoft a little grace.
I guess I gotta ask you, Deontay. What about Hellblade 2?
Nah. It's not that it's not a game that I enjoyed and loved. I guess that there's not enough content there for it to be considered more than just a experience than a game. I think it's an experience. I don't think it's a game. So I think it's going to disqualify itself from a lot of things outside of the graphical category, simply due to the fact that the experience of the game of it is far outweighs the gameplay of it. And I think that you have to have a mixture of both, or you have to have one that out supersedes the other. And I think that the experience itself far supersedes the gameplay in the game. So no, I don't think that they're going to get it, even though I would happily say that it was probably one of my most enjoyable experiences this year. So, no, I don't think so. But okay. Any final thoughts on game of the year before I move into my next topic?
Nope.
Nah, I ain't got none.
All right. So we talked about high quality DLCs. We talked about high quality full-fledged games. We talked about high quality indies. What is the value of a video game today? I really can't I know we always have metrics of what we kind of caliber our brains to think of what the value of a game should be. But in a world where we're getting really good, Beverly Hills Cops, LXF on Netflix, you're paying $15, or $20. I don't know how much people pay now. It's free for me technically, but when you get those types of stuff and you have the ability to I guess minimize the value of something, I really want to talk through the minimization or the minimizing of the value of a video game, because obviously we all agree that $70 is too much. So what is the true value now? That if it ain't 70, and it's all dependent on case by case basis, is there a baseline ever to be made for a video game? Is there a reason why 70 is the standard? And how do you correlate that to the value you get out of it? Because honestly, I'm be honest, I haven't bought a $70 game in a very long time because it just doesn't feel worth it ever. I think the depreciation of the video game is too extreme and too front loaded to the point where it doesn't matter. I think only only company that gets away with it is Nintendo, and I think that's just simply because it's Nintendo. But physical being removed, being digital only, not having a physical case, most likely, like, there is a value proposition there that is being minimized continuously, and yet I don't feel like the market has adjusted correctly. And it's all left up to us to decide, and I think that's too much of power to us in regards to just. I'm not saying that it's too much power, because we should have the ability, we should have the power to decide whether or not we want to buy it, but I'm saying that I think there should be collectively between the gaming companies that what makes sense for the dollar amount for a value of a game traditionally. And I don't think that has occurred yet. And maybe they do think that has occurred, and I think that 70 is the smart move. But I just feel like it's a true impact to them, more so than us, because I don't mind waiting. I think a lot of people don't mind waiting. I don't think the people mind playing free games and just spending $120 on that a year. Like, I don't know. What do y'all think about when y'all see the $70 price tag versus the Stellar Blade game, or the I don't know, Jedi Survivor game, or what are you thinking when you see it?
I mean, like that game out of reach.
It's out of reach.
Not just flat. I mean, I think the biggest thing is like, just thinking about. I know we talked about this a couple of times. How much hours I'm gonna get out the game? Is the game gonna keep me in tune? Is the game gonna hold its value? So those are questions that come to mind. And then I think the other aspect is, Is that, before when we was like growing up, if you wanted to play like a GameCube game or some, most time it was like 40 or $50 PS4 games and stuff like that, or like Xbox 360 is kind of like 50, 60-ish. So now it's like 60, 70-ish. The game's taking longer to come out. They coming out incomplete. Before we used to get complete games, so we're not getting that type of stuff. And then, I mean, the biggest thing or a huge factor for me is or another huge factor is the time. And then they got other games that's coming out for the free ball. So, I mean, it's just like, I'm not going to get that much enjoyment out of this game. I can go get a free game where I might get a little bit less enjoyment out of, but it make it a little more seamless multiplayer, all that type of stuff versus, paying $70 for a game. And if I'm doing it for multiplayer reasons, I need to have like, Xbox Live or like PS or PlayStation Plus. I don't need to have that from playing a free-to-play game. And I mean, a free-to-play game could be fun as long as I'm socializing with my friends. I just got done playing that goofy game. I think it's called the Knocker or something like that. I'm like, man, this game straight.
The Knocker? I ain't never heard of that one.
It's a free-to-play, Naraka or something. It's a battle royale sword fighting game. Like
samurai. Oh, I know what you're talking about. I'm
like, hey, we going crazy on this game. I'm like, hey, that's all I need, bro. I just had a little bit of fun, and that game ain't this, that, or third, and it's for the free ball. So I was playing on it with George. He's like, man, try it. I'm like, all right, bro, it's free.
Is it free? That's the key. Is it free?
For real, though.
But I think that plus subscriptions is kind of making it like, scary for them. I guess, how do you regain the value back, in my opinion? Because I understand that it's been diminished. And if they truly feel like this is the value, this is what the game should cost at this point in time, how do you recoup that for that feeling to the public? Like, I don't feel like the public is aligned with what they feel that their cost of their game should be. So I guess I'm looking at it from both perspectives, because honestly, nothing's going to change me from thinking that that a game should be worth 70, because I don't think any game is. And most of the time, it's really, really hard to get behind a publishing company that works for these megacorps and really say, like, yeah, I truly value and I want to support you in your efforts because you make great content. Because even if I feel like that content is great, I'm always evaluating it from a standpoint of, is this $70 worthy versus is this $40, is this $30, is this $20? But how do we get to a point where, and really that's what I'm trying to get to, is like, where do we get to a point where the game itself, the publisher, and us feel like it's right? Like Helldivers, we all felt like it was right. The person that's publishing the game and the people buying it felt like it was right. When we're matching games and we understand what AAA games look like and what they don't, and what they should come out as and what they shouldn't, is it a lot of just trickery? Like, should we be adjusting in real time the value of that game versus saying that it should just be worth this? Because I understand once you put it on the market, you might get the people that's crazy that just say, I buy anything for $70. Then you get the people that's going to come in with the $45 sale. Then they're going to come in with the $30 half off sale. Then you're going to come in with the people that's like $20. But you understand your sales cycle, right? I'm trying to figure out where the start point matches with, because a game is a living thing. People have to want to talk about it. And if nobody's playing it, how do you get more people to talk about it? Like, so I'm trying to get to a point where they make sense for them and they make sense for us. And I just don't think that it's been connected for a very long time. Like Spider-Man, they spent a lot of money to sell that game. I'm pretty sure they didn't get recouped their money like that. Because one, the game is super technical. It costs a lot. It's not engaging enough for people to be talking about it for weeks and months on end, like an Elden Ring. And the production value is high. The cost of it is high. And so you spend more time understanding their tech and how these developers kind of made it work on the PS5. And that's what sells me on value, right? But do anybody else feel like $70 is what Spider-Man should be costing to play a single player story that's really of high quality and premium? Like, I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of gray area when it comes to gaming, and I don't feel like it's a lot of that when it comes to like movies, music. Like if you buy $12 music, you buy somebody's album, and it sucks. You only get 5 songs out of it. I don't think you feel gypped, do you? I don't know. What do y'all think?
Yeah, I think with AAA games is unfortunately they just are gonna have to a lot of companies are gonna have to leave AAA, and we need to see a wider range of price points that are standardized. So we know what a $10 indie game is like. We know what a $25 indie game is like, and keep hitting these incremental price points. And some of these bigger companies are going to have to target those more. Right now, a lot of big companies like Sony and stuff like that are afraid of targeting those lower values because of I don't know the business terms, but you probably know it better than me, Deontay. But when they're targeting the lower price point, the amount of profit that you can get, even if it sells well, is much lower. So they don't want to do that. We want to reach for 70. So even though we only sell 2 million copies, yeah, the profit margin is higher because for each copy we make more money. So that's the interest of AAA right now, and I think that they're kind of hitting a cap on the market where the consumers that are willing to spend $70 are not growing, like every well, so it makes sense that a lot of companies are going to need to get out of that space, get out of AAA, because the cost to make the AAA game is not worth it. The amount of money that you're going to get out of it is not going to be worth it. So that being said, when we have somebody like a Capcom, they have their AAA games like Resident Evil 9, but if they can fill that space with smaller games, I think people will be a lot more comfortable because like, oh, I got a $40 I don't know Capcom game and a $70 Capcom game, and I can choose between them and whichever fit me, because there are too many really good free to play games, there are too many really good indie games, and there are too many good games that come out every week that I don't care about Spider-Man 3 for $70 when I could just play something else. Yeah, it's just that's what I think we need to see a larger range of games instead of everybody trying to reach the top, because it's not sustainable. And if they just keep doing that, we're gonna see more closures, because that's the reality. When everybody trying to fight for that 1%, that number one space, a lot of people are gonna have to lose.
Yeah, I think with Path of the Goddess, like Capcom's new game is coming out at $50. I don't know if that's
for that game. I think 50 is still too high, but I respect it. Yeah, if you have a smaller budget, from the jump, and my bad to interrupt you. If companies can adopt that mindset that they're going to work on a smaller project from day one, then their budget is not going to be as high. It's not going to take 5 years to make, and they can sell it at a lower price point. That would be better, because if Capcom can put out a $30 game every year or 2 years, I think that would be much more valuable than one $70 game every 5-6 years.
Right. Yeah, and then you have which, and I think that's kind of what is always in the back of my mind, is just your subscription services and how they fill those voids. And I think the model of Xbox is the technically the working model. That's how Netflix is able to have a variety of content, smaller and bigger, because they have the ability to continuously have a funnel of new content coming out that people are engaging in and want to talk about or want to watch. And then they have their bigger moments at the end of the year or at the beginning of the year or midsummer, like a Red Notice or the Beverly Hills Cop movie or something big with a large actor, because that is how they keep people engaged and wanting to continue to subscribe. Whereas, Xbox Game Pass has a different model where you do earn some revenue on top of what you're earning, because not only are you selling it in this Game Pass subscription for a lower cost, but you also are still physically selling that game outside of that. Netflix, once it's on Netflix, I don't think there's really a need for you to go buy it physically or have another copy of it, because it's always going to be on Netflix. So that is a difference in their model. So I think that Game Pass's model in itself has set them up to be smarter within the market and to price their games accordingly. They can do that because they have a bottom line on how, like, they have met their customer where they are. Like, nobody cannot justify $15 or 20. 20 might be a lot, but $15 a month, $20 a month for a catalog of games, no one can deny that is worth it, right? And as long as they have that base, they can continue to price correctly. I think what I'm seeing here is a lot of differences with Sony. I think Sony is the problem, where their games have been of such a high premium that, yes, you do have bias buy-in. Like, I can buy into their games and feel like I'm gonna get a great experience. But when they miss, it's going to hurt. Versus when Xbox miss, nobody care. You're still getting your $15, and it feels like their model has set them up for success in the long run. Versus PlayStation's model is I feel like I hate to work for a Sony studio. I ain't gonna lie. I just feel like it would be a headache, because it's constantly trying to one up yourself, playing with large sums of money that may not have the return you're looking for, and that could be the end of your studio. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it makes me feel like I'm not creative anymore. It makes me feel like a drone that's just trying to work to polish. And I think that there's some really good success stories that comes out of Sony, but I also feel like that is a dangerous way to think about your gaming cycle. Like, it's so damning to have a bad product, I guess. I think it shouldn't feel that way. I think it should really feel like a complementary thing of where we have great games that are small, we have great games that are big. I think Astrobot's coming out and stuff like that is really cool, and I really want to know what they priced it at. Did they price that at 70? I would hope not, but there's stuff like that, and I do have to look that up, because I want to make sure I'm not tripping on Astrobots. But I don't know. It's just like I guess it's a difference to me in the approach that I'm really kind of starting to see. And I'm not saying I am saying one is better than the other. I think Game Pass is just better, but I think that only because they have hit a bottom line that they probably can sustain through this service. That unless you have you have large ability to expend capital, you probably couldn't match. And I think that is worrisome to me a little bit. I think that is, I wouldn't say it's cheap, but it's just a strategic way to kind of go about continuously raising capital to be disposed, or to be distributed throughout your gaming company, throughout your game studios, because you're always going to have that bottom line. And regardless of whether these games have success or not, you're always generating income. And I think that that is the smartest thing that they possibly could have ever done, because it is a embedded system. It's kind of like a battle pass in their system, where you just buy a battle pass monthly for new content, and all that content has to do is keep coming, but it is not in this cyclical bad space where you feel like you're just strung up and have to do Apex Legends stuff where you're trying to get your company. And I think that this is the first time Game Pass has ever seen that type of thing where they did raise the prices. And that does tell me, and that's like that worries me too, because that tells me that, do you have the coverage to keep doing what you're doing? Because you wouldn't try to tax the people that are trying to, that are with you already. Like, if you're not growing, wider, you're going to continue to grow higher in regards to how much you stack on top of those people that are there. So I think that they are literally double charging or trying to make up the difference by not growing their subscriptions, but to charge more of their subscribers. And that's a worrisome thing too, because that tells me that you don't have a sustainable model, but maybe they're just greedy, because I feel like overall, if you have a bottom line, there is no way for you to lose, especially when you're budgeting accordingly and you're actually putting in the value, you're requesting the value that you're putting into it. I think that there is no way that you could technically lose. I think obviously them putting on all systems, all screens, all cloud, blah, 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 blah. This is another way for them to continue to grow there and expand themselves, but on a cheaper way. This is just a very cheap way to do so. It's all based off software. So, yeah, I don't know. I think all of that just starts to minimize the value of games to a point where Sony and Nintendo will be out there on the island on themselves. And I really don't want I don't know. I don't know if I want the Game Pass model to be the only thing that matters to everybody. I really want to see some true dollar to dollar looking at the portion of what that game should be providing and the value of what that should look like. And it can't just be defined for multiplayer games. It has to be defined for everything. So I really want to see what that looks like. A high quality single player experience shouldn't be $70 to me. Just shouldn't.
Yeah, I think that it can still be done without Game Pass, but there will have to be, I guess, industry-wide changes, because I know there's always a lot of talk with like the amount of fees that Sony charges, like a 30% flat fee or something like that. Same with Nintendo. Also, with stuff like patches and things like that, they also have to pay per patch and stuff. So when you have a smaller game, like a $15 game, it doesn't make sense to, release a patch every couple weeks like these big AAA games can, because you have to pay for it every time. So it's not really sustainable, because you're not making a whole bunch of money up front. So if there are industry-wide changes to compensate for smaller size games, smaller size studios, that they can function business, that could be a functional business model, then we can do it without Game Pass. But I think it's going to be a while before we see something like that on like the console space, especially on like Sony or Nintendo side. You probably just going to see it on more like Steam, where those feeds are either non-existent or much smaller, so that developers can make this smaller, different business model work for them. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I agree. And I think the PC market is just it's a significantly different market. I think they have a better control over it than anything. So, I never truly think value when I'm thinking of PC. I'm thinking whether or not I want to play it or not, because most of the time it aligns with what I think I should be paying. And that's the mindset you want your customer to be in. You don't want them to overthink the purchase. You want them to think this should cost this much. And if it doesn't cost as much, I'll wait for a sale or something. But blah blah blah. I shouldn't have to think too hard about the value of the game. I shouldn't have to research the game to find out whether or not the value matches. If you're in that state, you're losing interest. You're losing buyers. Because that point, if they do enough research, they probably will find something else that is more engaging or more of value. So I feel like there has to be a thought process behind, yeah, graphic art is cool, yeah, but we are becoming smarter as consumers, and I think smarter consumers need to have standardized price points, because it feels as if I can buy a 2-year-old game with a quality that at the time when it came out was worth $70, but I got this $40 game that just came out, and without thinking about it, I can look at it and tell, or look at it and see that this probably doesn't add up to the value. I think there's a lot of, you know what it is, and I'm just thinking about it out loud, is that there is a lot of distrust in the gaming community at this point. And that is something you really, there's a distrust for large publishers. Let me get that straight. It's not the indies. It's not those little guys. It's large publishers. So if a large publisher has created a large distrust with the community, it does significantly impact the ability to sell a game on the market new. So it's so many combinations of all this stuff, man. But I just wanted to think through why the value of a video game has become so out of whack to me. Just feels like it's so distant to what it should be. And I think there's a lot of distrust, a lot of complications with video games, a lot of things that you have to just take on the chin, optimization problems, that has caused everyone to second guess the value of a game. And you get burnt enough times, anytime you purchase something, you're re-guessing, rethinking, and feeling as if this game should only be worth half of what you actually put out, when truly, when those true valuable games come out, they even get the scrutiny. They even get it's only 20 hours, but it's like a great experience, because you're so accustomed to not trusting that you're getting your money's worth. So that's a tough problem to solve, but I think the community itself, there should be some standardization around optimization, to be honest. And I think Microsoft has the chops to do it, and Sony has the chops to do it. They have the ability to stop letting these people get away with the crappiness. It's time. Nintendo, not so much. But I think those two players definitely have the chops to say, no, Cyberpunk, get it out of here, man. They did it before, so I think they could do it again. At least Sony did. Microsoft said, whatever, y'all buy it. Microsoft ain't care at all. Cyberpunk was running like a potato, but they ain't care. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Any final thoughts on value of video games? Anything to add, Jalen or Josh, before we call it quits? Anything on Game Pass? I'm about to.
Nah, I ain't got nothing.
Right. No, just so many good free to play games. It's gonna be a weird couple years, but I think the industry would get through it. It's just hope a lot of the developers get through the transition period.
Yeah. Okay. All right, man. That's pretty much it for us. I want to appreciate. Well, I don't know why I said I want to appreciate. I want to thank you guys for listening. As always, if you got to this part, you're the real OG. I appreciate you listening to us ramble and talk about gaming topics and things that we find entertaining. But thank you again. When you get here, this is like This is my circle. This is my people. You got to this part. You got to the end of it. So I want to thank you as always. But we'll be back next week to talk more gaming news, have more interesting topics. Hopefully we get some stuff popping that's in the community once we finalize and figure out our thoughts on Concord more solidified. But hopefully that takes a turn. So hopeful. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to y'all next week. Peace.